Hi, my name's Tristen. I'm a young adult at Lambrick. I'm 21 years old, and this past summer I worked as a hospitality intern at the Mustard Seed Street Church in downtown Victoria. So, working as a hospitality intern, our goal was to make people feel at home. We kind of aimed to make this site community members' living rooms. So, what that looked like for me was I worked in the coffee window, serving coffees, baked goods, little lunches and stuff. We also had a boutique there, so giving out clothing, as well as just grabbing coffees and sitting down with people and talking. We also ran a hot lunch program throughout the summer. Every week, every day actually, we served up to 120 lunches to community members with a bag lunch, hot lunch, like lasagna and stuff, and a couple of snacks. And another program I was able to help out with was Beyond the Streets, which was a program taking community members out on nature hikes, working towards the goal of completing a portion of the Juan de Fuca Trail. The highlight of the summer for me was definitely working with the Beyond the Streets program. Just getting to spend really extended time with a subset of community members was really meaningful, learning their stories, just making inside jokes and stuff. And the highlight, I suppose, of the highlight was completing the Juan de Fuca Trail. If you don't know the Juan de Fuca, it's out past an hour and a half past Shuh on the open ocean, beautiful western coastal temperate rainforest. And yeah, we did 3 days on it, doing 20 kilometers. Even with people pushing through past physical trauma, they were able to complete the trail, and we were able to just share stories and spend time around. We couldn't have campfires, so camp stoves and telling stories and singing camp songs. It was really just a humbling experience to be able to share that journey with them and hear their stories. I mentioned this in my first letter, but one big thing for me was just practicing generosity. You meet a lot of people there, and some of them really are not doing well, and you can tell by how they walk around and stuff and how they carry their possessions that they've got some stolen stuff. And on another hand, being generous with food to some degree and with clothing and things is to some degree, it feels like enabling their addictions. Also on the food bank side of things, we really do get some nice items, and the cooks are lovely. As I mentioned, there's hot meals every weekday, and they get a lunch bag. And it can sometimes just be hard giving out all that stuff out the window and thinking, man, a lot of this stuff I wouldn't even buy for myself. And obviously I'm working on a student budget and things, but these are good things, and we're giving them away to people it feels like sometimes don't deserve them. And it causes a tension in you as a well acclimatized citizen. But I think that there's a couple nuggets that kind of come out of that tension. Am I the one to decide who gets what? Does Jesus say, only give to those who are deserving? And I don't know if I'm the one to decide that, especially when the Mustard Seed is a ministry that thrives off the generosity of others that want to look out for the least. So there's a really interesting tension in that. We had these devotionals every morning, as I had mentioned, and there was one phrase from one that really stood out to me and stuck with me in a prayer, which was, Lord, teach us to give without counting the cost. And that's going to stick with me. And I kept praying as I gave the food out, praying for it to be used well, but also just praying for that change in myself, that remembering none of this is my own. And it's the Lord's to give away, and I just get to be an instrument in that. I learned that I am less grounded than I thought I was. I really learned that I'm a people pleaser. And out there, working with people at the Mustard Seed, emotions definitely run closer to the surface, and I would rush and compromise my own peace and the peace of the environment to please one person who started yelling or getting frustrated. One inspiration over my whole time at the Mustard Seed was Pastor Chris Pollock. He just acts so slowfully out of care and just this honoring of this person in front of me is an image of God, and really grounded himself in that and God's peace. Yeah, I learned that I'm not as grounded as I could be, and I want to keep moving towards just that place of rest and moving slowly and truth that, again, just God's got me. He's got the situation in his hands. He's got the person in front of me's heart in his hands. And again, he's faithful. I think what I learned about God was that he's a God of restoration, and that restoration just does not pan out the way that we expect it to. You know, working there and handing out food, talking with people, just being able to smile and offer kindness in a part of the world that's really tough. I just got to be an instrument of restoration in that and just catch a little bit of what God is doing just on this big scale. And, you know, I just got to be a part of that, hearing that and seeing that restoration really work its way out. And it just reminded me, you know, how big God is, how much he has us in his hands. And yeah, that nothing's lost. Everything can be restored. Yeah, so in light of that experience, I just really want to sincerely thank the missions team and all of the Lambrick congregation for making this happen. It was a really meaningful experience, and I'm going to be taking it with me for a long time.